for having us down today. Irish Champions Weekend is obviously a really busy time of the year as well. What's the kind of vibe around the yard approaching such a big week?
Yeah, I think everyone is obviously happy, looking forward to it, and obviously everyone is a little bit on edge because things have to go right, and that's the way it is really. And I think if it's not like that, it's not right either. So we're all looking forward to it. Listen, it's an unbelievable weekend for Irish racing, European racing. I think the world is watching Ireland this weekend and seeing what horses are there for what distances and where they can go and compete after this. But the whirlpool involved now makes it extra special because it brings all everybody from Hong Kong and all that part of the world interested in and involved in it, and everyone has their own way of analysing every race now. So everyone is trying to compare horses, races, distances, grounds, punters, fans, everything all rolled into one really.
Yeah, it's a special weekend and you've had massive success there obviously. I think you've had 10 individual winners of the Irish Champions Stakes, 12 winners in total. Can you pick out a memory that sticks out to you in particular, your favourite one?
Oh, it obviously has been a great race for us, and I suppose there have been so many. Obviously maybe at the moment St Mark's Basilica would strike you. Augustus Rodan last year, they were two massive ones. St Mark's Basilica didn't have a clear run up to it, but still got away with it. Augustus last year, we think he's an unbelievable horse really. We think he's an unusually bred horse, very classy horse. So so delighted to have him going back again this year really.
And it would take a special horse to do it 2 years in a row, I suppose, but he is a bit special.
Yeah, he's a very classy horse. But listen, you don't take it for granted. It's a tough race and very competitive, and to win one was unbelievable. We're thinking of going to Japan after this with him. So we think and hope that the race will set him up well for that.
One of the most memorable rules, I suppose, for fans, maybe Galileo and Fantastic Light. He just went down that day, but he hit a massive milestone in York, 100 individual Group 1 winners. Can you describe him at all? He was just such a special horse.
Yeah, sure, like incredible, brave, classy, a lot of class really. I suppose quality, but I suppose his braveness and his movement and his action, his determination, they're all the things that set him apart from every other thoroughbred and stamped all his stock like that. They're very genuine. They never questioned what you are asking them to do tomorrow, even if you overdone them the day before. Most horses, if you overdo them, they won't want to go there again the next day. But Galileo was different, and all his progeny are different. They seem to forget about yesterday and look forward to tomorrow. And if you want to do it again, I'll do it again, you know. So it's the determination, what's inside in them, what you can't see with your eye, what makes them very different, we always felt.
And you compared him to Justify after Content won, of course. Do they have similar characteristics in their stock?
Yeah, very similar. Justifies are like that, but they have a little bit more class. Justifies are quicker, I suppose, coming from a dirt background. And obviously that's why we're so excited about Justify. We think he's Galileo with class that has dirt pedigree. Really kind of leaves the world totally at their oyster, we think.
And I think the last time we were here was just before the Derby. Obviously there was a lot of pressure on then for City of Troy. Does it give you great satisfaction to see him go on and do what he has done so far?
Absolutely, and we obviously think he's still on the upward curve. Like we were over the moon with him in the Derby, and obviously his races since then. But he's a very unusual horse, always was. I suppose we went off of the road the first time he ran this year, and to get back on it we had to land gently on it and not to try correct too many things too quickly. So we're kind of slowly getting there, and the last day we were delighted with him. He's nearly back, ready to see full pitch, hopefully shortly the next time or the time after that.
And what would it mean to you, I suppose, personally, to win a Breeders' Cup Classic?
Sure, it would be incredible. We've been trying to win it for a lot of years. It's very difficult. You're going racing in a different culture altogether, a different surface, different pace. Everything is different. So they have a lot of things to adapt to very quickly without probably being able to practice 100% in those circumstances. But it's very exciting really. I think you have to be a good bit better than the American horses to beat them. because you have so much things to overcome. But obviously all we can do is dream. We always felt we didn't have anything like him. So it will be interesting.
Very exciting, I suppose. Can I just ask you about the routine here? You mentioned earlier they do a lot of time warming up, a lot of hand walking, no walkers. Is it very routine based every day?
Yeah, very much so. We listen, simple routine. We walk 20-25 minutes, trot for 5 or 10 minutes, to do 2 canters, gentle canter, quicker canter the second time. We walk them after 25 half hour off their backs. So the routine is very simple, but it's very much human based. Connection with animal all the time. So we feel that the horse develops the personality from the person who's riding him, and we feel it's important for a horse, if they're going to become good, to have a personality, because they can't be machines. Like when we ask them to work, they have to be able to hold back a little bit themselves, and they only will do that when they're confident, really, we believe. Los Angeles, it looks like at the moment he's going to run. Yeah, listen, we had it in our head going to York that he might go that way, and that was the reason for doing it. The reason was that if we thought he's a horse who would run in the kind of first 3, 4, 5 in a champion stakes and could go on to an arc. That's what we still think. If the ground it gets soft in France, he'll have no problem with that. And obviously we were delighted with his run in York. So that's the plan at the moment. Yeah, listen, we could go to a Ledger with him, but we have 3 other horses that are kind of look like real Ledger horses that will get the trip very well. But we didn't think that he needs to go the trip, so it will be interesting. That's our reasoning and thinking behind it. He's a deceiving looking horse. He looks, he's lazy, and when he gets to the front, he doesn't do much. So it's just hard to assess him. But for us, we learn a lot about him in this race because it'll be strong, even pace, and we will learn what kind of a middle distance type horse he's going to be. He's a massive horse, and he's even in the last 2 months he's gone higher behind, so that means he's probably going to grow a lot over the winter, so he's a massive big horse, yeah. So we didn't think it was listen, definitely won't do him any harm, and we're going to learn a lot about him, if that makes sense.
Augusta Rodin?
Yes, yeah, the plan is to go. Luxembourg will go with him. The plan with Augustus is to go to Japan after it. So he loves the fast ground, and his work is very good. His last bit of work was excellent. It showed a lot of zest in it. We think he's a 1.25 mile horse that gets 1.5 miles, but he's not any further than that, if you know what I mean. Like, he's a very slick horse. He travels very well. He does everything very easy, So we think that he's. We think he's going to suit the race, and we think next race will suit him as well. That's what we're thinking.
Did you have any reason for the King George run?
Yes, no. We felt when I walked the track, the ground was soft on the inside, and I made a bad decision. I should have discussed it with the lads, and we should have got out off it. But we made the decision to stay in. The race before us was won on the rails, but the time was very slow, and they went very slow, and it was obviously only a sprint. But the King George was always going to be a strong run race, and he got trapped down the rail behind the pace, and William had Ryan on his inside, and he wasn't going to let him out there, and so Ryan did have no choice, and he stayed there. So probably we turned it into a 1.6 mile race. It was very tough, and he was in on the worst of it, we felt. I'm not trying to make excuses, but that's what we felt. And the first 3 all came from the back wide off of the bad ground, and I think there's some kind of facts out there what happened. It's could probably come out sometime, but the ground definitely was soft on where he was down the rail, So, and it was cut up, soft ground, put back in. I shouldn't be saying this because I don't want to be slagging anybody in Ascot, so they understand. So, and I'm not. And when a horse runs a bit like that with Ryan, he takes him out of the race because he always thinks it the next day, So, but we think, listen, it can be soft in Japan too, but usually it's good fast ground, So. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Piece of work he did, was it the best piece of work he's ever done?
It was very, like I said, there was showed a lot of zest in the work, you know what I mean? He went by his lead horse very easy, where he usually wouldn't at that stage of the work, and he was very confident, and we were very happy when we saw it now, David. It was a bit different, So
seems to be a lot stronger this year.
Yes.
As well. He's after getting very.
Yeah, he is. He's changed into a 4-year-old. Yeah, that's what we felt. Like, he's all quality, but like I say, he's a 1.25 mile horse that just gets 1.5 miles, but he's not any further than 1.5 mile horse, if you know what I mean. That's what we think,
Luxembourg won the race 2 years ago.
Yes, he's Luxembourg's a very consistent, strong horse. He'll go forward over a mile and a quarter. He doesn't mind making the run in, and you have to follow him because he won't be stopping over a mile and a quarter. He's another one of those horses. He's a kind of mile and a quarter horse that just gets a mile and a half, but he's not any further than that. You know what I mean? But over a mile and a quarter now, he gets it well.
Champions Stakes, was it ever part of the plan, Aidan, for City of Troy to run the Champions Stakes at any stage?
Listen, it was obviously always there or thereabouts. And it was always, it could have been, and we were waiting to let him go forward, but we didn't only wanted to do it before the Classic, because he was aggressive the last day, but he'll be more aggressive the next day, you know. So when he was let go forward, and we didn't want to do that until very late because of what happened in the Guineas, you know. So we were and Ryan went forward, but he still went forward with kind of controlled aggression, if you know what I mean, you know. But I know him the next day now, he will hit them gates, you know, he'll want to go the next day. So when he did it in York, then if he hadn't did it in York, he could have ended up going to Leopardstown, but he's after doing it now, and we wouldn't want to do it again in a big race, you know, they have to be different, and we think what he did was going to set him up well for America. We think, Michael,
do you think
you know.
it takes any prestige off the race that the champion 3-year-old is not winning?
I don't think so. Listen, every year we have to do what we think is the right thing for the horses, and the Champion Stakes, it doesn't apologise to anybody ever, because we've seen what has happened out of the Champion Stakes every year in, year out. It happens. The horses that come out of it, and it's ARC winners, Breeders' Cup winners, everything, you know what I mean. It has happened every year, you know. So and we do have other horses that we have to slot in as well, so we have to think of them as well, and we think it could be a very good fit for Augustus going on to Japan, win, lose or draw, if you know what I mean, you know. So we're just trying to cater for everything and everybody, really, you know. So
it's off topic a tiny bit, but you mentioned City of Troy. If he did happen, touch wood, to win
Yes.
the Breeders' Cup
Yes.
Classic, would that be the pinnacle for Aidan O'Brien, for Coolmore and for Ballydoyle?
Sure, listen, we've never won it. We've tried very hard for a lot of times for 25 years. Very difficult race to win, you know. It's very difficult. You're going to a different world, different culture, different track, different surface. Everything is different. It's very tough. I think one of our horses to win it has to be a lot better than the opposition, you know. I think, you know, and it's, listen, you can't, it's one of those races you don't dream about, but because it's so difficult, but you try and hope, you know. And every year you tweak things and looking for different horses and different ways of doing it, and you know what I mean. And you look under every stone that you know that you can look under, and then hopefully you've looked under enough of them, like what you saw what happened in the Guineas this year. The one stone I didn't look under came and got it, you know what I mean, you know. So
It is utterly different to anything he'll ever have done before, isn't it?
then
The
City.
race, I'm saying, City of Troy, it's going to be completely different to anything he's ever been used to.
Oh, 100%. But he was, yeah, exactly. He always favoured racing aggressively, you know, always did. And that's why from day one he just went out the gates and he went. And it's in his nature to do it, you know. So, but what's rare about him is that he carries it through, you know, the way. So, yeah.
Would you be keen to go forward with him to avoid getting kicked back?
Oh, I'd say so. I'd say he'll go forward, yeah. But you'd imagine that the faster they go, the better will suit him. But, you know, our fast is a little bit different than American fast, you know. So it will be interesting, and we'll watch with great interest like everyone else, you know. So.
And what will you do in Suddle when he goes there?
He will go a mile with probably 4 or 5 other horses, and we'll go strong, fast pace for a mile and see what will happen. And he'll walk out with the American stalls, so we'll have it as close as we can. Obviously we won't have the surface, but that's not a bad thing, because it's kind of coming from between grass onto, do you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a step in between rather than the big jump straight away, you know. That's what we think, yeah.
You've done it a couple of times before, Galileo and Diets Causeway. Is there anything that you did a bit differently this
yeah,
time
we have tweaked things. We have the stalls, and we have the surface is a little bit different again, and that's a little bit why we didn't go to Leopardstown this time. And it's like you asked me, Michael, we wanted to kind of, if we went to Leopardstown, we might use up that run. Do you know, that kind of way? That's why we thought we'd go to Suddle instead. It's and we went with Giants Causeway and he got beat. which we got beat with everything. Do you know what I mean? So we have to tweak a little bit, and we maybe leaving him a little bit, maybe a shade fresher, you know. So that's what we're hoping, you know. So.
And a horse with pace will be with him. Will he lead?
Oh yeah, we'll work the fastest horse as we can.
Yeah.
We'll go very hard the first half of the race, and I don't know what's going to happen, but we've never, like any horse we've ever sent to Southwell has never worked well. You know, they always just about finish with the lead horse, you know. But this, and maybe it'll be the same, I don't know. But it will be interesting, you know. So Ryan said that there's not much kickback in Southwell, but yes, that's fine, you know what I mean. So like obviously in America we would prefer to stay out of kickback, and if you end up getting it, you end up getting it. But my kind of experience of kickback, you don't ever get used to it.
Yep.
And I don't think any horse enjoys kickback. If you end up in there and you get it, you get it, but no horse can enjoy that, you know what I mean? So.
And will you bring him to Del Mar at the same time that you
Yes,
normally bring
yes.
him to
I think they usually fly on the Saturday before, so they arrive out there the Saturday evening. They're in quarantine for 2 days, and then they're out on the track on Saturday, Sunday, Monday in quarantine, out on the track on Tuesday. That's what I think usually happens. So, yeah.
The matron maybe?
Yes. Yeah. The plan is to go with Yang Yang.
Yeah.
We think that she will stay further. We rode her very gently the last day because we were very conscious that she was just about ready to run. The race wasn't fast and it never really opened up. So Ryan obviously kind of flowed her when that happened. Like he would, and that's what he would say, because he was never going to get into the race and he could give her a hard race and set her back. So she will stay further than a mile. She could go to the Phillies race Arc weekend after that, but we're thinking about America. But over a mile, she could, the next day she'll be different. We'll ride her more positively and forward.
Content enough for Singer in there as
Yeah,
well?
no, Content will probably train her for Arc weekend, the Phillies race or the Arc, I don't know, one or the others, and she probably missed the Arc trials, so she's a slight filly, so. And then Opera Singer runs in Vermont, is it? Arc Trials Day.
Yeah.
So that'll say whether she'll go to an Arc or whether, and listen, they're all Breeders' Cup type fillies as well, so that's what we're thinking, Emma, yeah.
Kiprios maybe?
Kiprios, yeah, very happy. He's done, everything's went very well with him so far. He's in very good form. So the plan is obviously to go to Ledger with him, you know, so yeah, so everything's is good so far with him.
Yeah, he looks as good, if not better, than ever this year.
Yeah, he's like, obviously he's a hard horse to read, Kiprios, because he's very lazy, and he only does what he has to do. But he did look very good and good with the last day, you know. So yeah, he's an unusual horse that he's a group horse over 1.25 miles, I'd say, and he gets that 2.5. But that's a very rare horse does that, really.
Yeah, and you were saying the plan would all be well next year, go back to Ascot.
I think so, yes. It would be the Gold Cup is what we'd be dreaming about. It's very difficult to get a Gold Cup horse. The majority of horses, no matter how good they are as classy stayers, when you go past the 2.25, very few go that far, really, you know.
How much satisfaction do you get over a horse like that? There's so many that don't come back.
Yeah, Asher.
What looks like his best.
Asher. Yeah, it's incredible, really, Michael. But that's down to what everyone is around him, really. You know, they made him come back and helped him to come back. And listen, it's credit to them, really. But it's very rare. Like I thought there was no chance in the world. You know what I mean? That he could come back. You know. So, and I don't think anybody did. But like in all fairness to everyone around them, and I'm always calling everybody's names, but you know what I mean, like. You know, so it's incredible what they did, really, to get him back.
What are you thinking, 2-year-old wise national stakes?
Yeah, we're thinking we've the horse Henry, is it Henry? Yes, yeah. So that was always the plan for him, and the lads will decide about the horse that ran in York, whether he'll go or not. But he's still there, and if he doesn't go there, he'll go to the Goffs, and he could do both. But we'll see. But the plan always that was in Henry's plan for a long time.
Bedtime story goes for that?
Yes, and the plan is, and we're happy with her since the last day. So, and then the filly ran in Newmarket could go to the Meigler as well, the other Frankel filly out of...
Lake Victoria.
Yes, yeah, David, so, yeah.
And bedtime story, you know, you said afterwards, do you think she's far better than the bare form the last day?
I know, we didn't want to give her a grueler the last day, and she's big high tempo filly. That's what she is, and when the tempo is strong and hard, like it only kicks in at the 2 after a strong tempo. It never really kicked in at all at the Curragh, but we didn't want to do that to her, like before the for the Migler, obviously, you know.
They're a lovely crop of juvenile fillies, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They seem nice so far. Yeah, everything is. They seem nice team of fillies there, you know. So
Fairy godmother is
Fairy,
Cheveley
yeah,
Park.
she's going to Cheveley Park. Yeah, she's. I think 4 or 5 more pieces of work to do, but everything's. She's coming along fine so far. That's the plan with her. Yeah.
A line in winter will go for the million, will he?
A line in winter, yes, that's the plan.
Yeah.
That's what we were thinking. Now he's a little bit kept going on the boil for the national stakes, but the plan is probably he's going to go to the million.
Step forward a lot the last day.
He did, yeah. He was very. Firstly, he was very green and learnt a lot, which was lovely. And like he just hit the gates the last day, and we really thought that maybe York was going to be a bit sharp for him. You know, you nearly need a 6 furlong horse to win the Acom usually, but usually we've seen those really good, classy horses can get away with, like, remember, like those good horses, like those good fillies, like they can win over 6 and end up being an Oaks filly. You know, those classy horses, yeah, usually.
Dreamy could be an Oaks filly for next
Dreamy, yeah, she's big filly, so we'll try not to race her too much. One more run probably at the most, and that's the type of filly she looks. She's a American Pharaoh filly, beautiful, big, scopy filly, you know. So, yeah, it was a good pace the last day. She learned plenty, like they weren't hanging around all the way. So, and Ryan was very happy with her. He said she really only engaged the last 2 when they joined her. So, yeah, very happy.
Covers ground well when top flight.
Oh yeah, she's a big filly. Yeah, she's. Oh yeah, when she got into full speed, she really opened up, especially the last furlong. Yeah.
She felt like one that Ryan Moore seemed to nurse very well.
He did, yeah. He nursed her through the whole race. He was educating her without going for her, and you could see him that he was very happy, even though he was pushing her. He hadn't really got into her. You know, he was still high in the saddle. You know, even though he looked to be moving, he hadn't really got down. You know, so it's only really in the last furlong he asked her to pull out. You know, so you know. Really,
Do you ever
you know.
doubt yourselves during those
I doubt myself all the time. Believe me, I wish I didn't. That's my life. But listen, you have to, and everyone has to be answerable. You have to be answerable to yourself. You have to be true to yourself, and you can't think that. You know what I mean? Everyone has an opinion, and who knows who's right or who's wrong. And do you know what I mean? You know, so that's just the way it is, and then you just hope. Like there's so many variables that you can't control. If one of them, like you can have everything right and one of those can throw you off, do you know what I mean? Somebody, you know, or something, you know what I mean? It's
look forward rather than look back.
always,
Yeah.
always, yeah.